So some interesting information came out in the past few days from Clay Matthews about him leaving Green Bay, him sort of being surprised that they did let him go. And then he apparently had some discussions with Joe Barry, and Clay Matthews thought a year or so ago that maybe there's a chance he would return to Green Bay. So I sort of want to go through this information because I do think it is interesting. And if you know Clay Matthews, I got a couple pictures of him back here, but Packers legend. He was exciting. He was a very exciting young player when he came into the league, 2009, 2010. Played at such an elite level, and it was definitely sad to see him go when he did leave the Packers after, 2018 or so. But I have an article here from Rob Demovsky of ESPN titled "Clay Matthews Says He Had Hoped to Finish His Career with the Green Bay Packers." And I want to read a quote that he had to say over here. First off, I'll read this. Matthews said after the 2018 season, the Packers told him he would still be in their plans, even though his production had waned. However, once they signed pass rushers Za'Darius Smith and Preston Smith in free agency, he knew it was over. Shortly after, he said he received a call from Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst informing him that they were moving on. So Clay Matthews apparently was told they were going to keep him in their plan, or he would still be in their plans, but I guess they changed their mind when they decided to sign Za'Darius and Preston, so they, of course, let Clay Matthews go, which was a very sad day when you have a player like that. So I feel like had the same feeling with Jordy Nelson. When those guys leave, it's just like, man, do they really have to go? Can we just hold on a little bit longer? But here's what he said. I would have loved to finish my career there, Matthews said Monday, as part of a promotional tour for Tide Detergent. Based on my discussions after that 2018 season, I thought we were going to continue moving forward. But yeah, the manner in which it did kind of caught me by surprise. Ultimately, it is what it is. I had fun in my year in LA. It was a blast getting to go home and play with some incredible players. So he went and played in LA for 1 year. He had 3.5 sacks in his final season with the Packers, and then 8 in 13 games with the Rams back in 2019. Then he decides to sit out the COVID year. And here's something interesting that I found here. So here's what it says. After sitting out the COVID year in 2020, he thought there was a chance to return to Green Bay because his position coach with the Rams, Joe Barry, now Packers defensive coordinator, had just been hired as a Packers defensive coordinator. He had reached out to me, Matthews said. He knew that I could still play, and I think he knew if he had me, he could find a way to use me within the scheme. But nothing ever manifested. So I think ultimately there might have been powers above that didn't want that to happen. But yeah, there was a brief glimmer of hope of coming back. That didn't happen, but it's all good. But I'm at peace with my career. So that is interesting that Joe Barry had reached out to Clay Matthews, which made it seem like maybe there's a chance Joe Barry wanted him to return to Green Bay in 2021, which would have been, I would have been all for it to see a, former or current Packers legend come back here to Green Bay. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, and Clay Matthews seemed to speculate that he said, so ultimately there may have been powers above that didn't want that to happen. So Matthews thinks maybe the people in charge who released him didn't want him to return to Green Bay. Who knows exactly if that happened, or, it's just sort of speculation on his part. But that would have been interesting to have Clay Matthews back here in Green Bay. Obviously, he probably wouldn't have been a player he once was, but I feel like when you have a player who is here for the Super Bowl and just has that history with Green Bay, those veteran presences, just are, I think, pretty important, as we've seen here with Marcedes Lewis, Bakhtiari, Aaron Rodgers, having these guys who have been in Green Bay for a long, long time. Would have been nice to have him back here, but unfortunately, it wasn't the case. But I thought I would just bring some of that information to light. Found it very interesting. Feel free to comment your thoughts down below. If you haven't subscribed to put up Packers content multiple times a day, so feel free to subscribe, drop a like on the video, and I'll see you guys next time.